and also through the northeast, freezing rain, the northwest, snowfall. So we've got it all in this storm system, but the concern for us moving forward with the rest of our day and even into Saturday will be the strength of the wind. The southwesterly winds will be very strong. And temperatures did not reach quite as high as we had forecasted yesterday because we're convinced that it's because there's just too much snow on the ground and helping to keep things cool. So it ate away a little bit at the snow. These are the snow totals that are still on the ground as of Thursday. We can see that largely we're still dealing with a fair amount of snow along the southern Ontario, along the lower lakes in that range of, say, 5 to 15 centimeters of snow. So it didn't eat away at that much at the snow, but certainly some ponding and some pooling of roadways has been an occurrence. And now the temperatures are going to plummet. We're going to see possibly some very icy conditions now heading into Saturday morning. Thankfully, no school tomorrow in the 5 to -5 region. And we want to turn it over right now to Jacqueline. She's going to explain to us how we can get thunderstorms in the winter months. And it happened yesterday in Windsor, actually. There was some thunder snow. We had thunderstorms roll through southern Ontario. Now the wind. These are the wind warnings posted. Also some squalls will be setting up on the eastern side of Lake Superior. 7-day forecast in Toronto. Look at the temperatures getting far colder by next week. During our meteorological briefing this morning, we were talking about the temperatures not quite getting as high as what we had forecasted yesterday and talking about reasons why that might be. We're convinced that it's because there's just too much snow on the ground and it's helping to keep the temperatures down. Yesterday, of course, we've seen that now moving through the southeast of the province as well as southern Quebec, but it's the wind, especially strong southwesterly winds here for southern Ontario and especially on the north side of Lake Erie. Those gusts could go as high as 100 kilometers per hour. We've also got very strong winds up into eastern Superior. That will result in likely some squalls as we head into tomorrow. Some very strong winds that will continue Saturday, especially across southern Ontario. We do have some wind warnings in place because of that. Again, watch for, in general, gusts as high as 80, but in some cases toward Niagara, possibly up to 100 kilometers per hour.
And that means that our parcel that's warmer below will actually explode or become even more rapidly rising, and then we get explosive types of thunderstorms developing.
Thank you so much, Jacqueline, for that explanation. We also have some strong winds today from the southwest across southern Ontario and even up toward Manitoulin Island and traveling towards Sudbury and North Bay. These areas are going to be windy, and we do have these warnings in place. Now, in particular, I want to note this area down here on the northeast side of Lake Erie. The gusts there could go as high as 100 kilometers per hour. Elsewhere in the warned regions, likely gusts to 80, but we're going to have sustained or steady winds easily at 20, 40, maybe 50 kilometers per hour throughout the day. So there goes our low pressure system that's bringing us all of the wind, including in some icing, and that has obviously resulted in some accidents as well. Forecast for this afternoon, only 3. So we didn't quite hit that 6-degree mark that we were talking about yesterday. We're confident that it's because there's too much snow on the ground, helping to keep things too cold. But nevertheless, we're going to be going down and the temperatures cooling off for the weekend ahead. A little bit more rain for southeast Ontario. And we saw that yesterday in Windsor. There was actually a report of snow and thunder at the same time. The system is moving out. It is bringing some additional rainfall through the southeast of the province, and behind it some very, very strong winds. Let's check in with Kevin right now and see what the conditions are like on the ground. Thank you, Kevin. Well, the issue is not going to be rain around the GTA. Certainly southeastern Ontario, we're going to be seeing another 15 to 20 plus millimeters of rain as the system continues its departure out. The Ministry of Natural Resources yesterday issued this provincial flood watch across the south, and Kevin was just alluding to it as well, with some basement flooding having been the result of this low pressure system that came through, because initially it was cold enough to see some snow. Then we had that changeover to, in some cases, rainfall, but with the melt that we saw, although brief, it was enough to lead to a lot of ponding and pooling on roads and sidewalks and that sort of thing. Actually, the temperatures, also talking about the wind, that is certainly the concern for the remainder of today and even into tomorrow. Southwest winds will be particularly strong for the beginning of the weekend. Well, take a look at this.